Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 493 Manbrin Drive North here in Kaiser. Located up on the rooftop, going down through a 4-inch cast iron vent. Gonna check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Waters are running. We're gonna zero the foot counter out once we hit the base of the vent stack, which is right here. All right, and off we go here. I think this line may be shooting out the side of the house. Yep, we're already into, looks like we just swapped over to concrete pipe there almost immediately upon access. So line appears to shoot out as you face the home from the street, that's how I describe everything, or face the front of the house. Line appears to go out the right side of the home, kind of near where the air conditioning unit's at. And it looks like we swapped over to concrete. It was hard to get a good view of the transition joint there, but it looks like we've got at least a couple joints thus far. We've got more roots there, dirt going through that pipe joint, and we're likely going to see conditions like this till at least the street would be my guess here. All right, so I'm having trouble here getting past 31 feet. I don't know if I'm hitting an offset joint or a root intrusion. Camera's just struggling here. Oh, you know what? We might have actually finally just plowed through it there. Well, a little bit anyway. I'm having the water turned off right now so the thing drains out. The other tricky thing about this is the angle of the roof is such that it's hard to run the camera two-handed without running the risk of, I got to kind of keep a hand on the camera so it doesn't slide off the rooftop. That's what I'm getting at. So I don't get as much pushing leverage as I normally would have on a little bit gentler roof. Anyway, we'll see how things are looking here in just a second. Once the line drains off, we should get a better view of what's going on. My guess is it's probably a root ball that's stopping us though. I'm going to go down and try and get this spot located here. I'm hoping in the meantime some more water percolates off, but you can see we're in standing water right now, and I can tell there's obviously some debris amongst this. I think what you've got is probably a bunch of roots in the flow line, debris, stuff of that nature, which is stopping the camera right now. So hoping we can get to the end of this thing. It's one of those scenarios that may require some level of drain cleaning. Sometimes you got to put a clean out in. Going through the toilet in this scenario, in most cases, I've done over 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career. In most cases, the roof vent honestly is a better point of access. It's usually a straighter shot into the line. The hindering part in this case is just a steeper roof. There's a little bit of granule loss up here on the roof, so stuff slides kind of easy. So I gotta be a lot more careful up here so I don't pull on the camera too hard and get stuff sliding off the rooftop. So in this circumstance, the toilet may be the better access point to try. It may give you just a better setup and allow for more leverage to hammer down on the camera to get it to go through here. But if you've got a big root mass in the flow line, that may not do the job. The line may need some level of drain cleaning. The other option, if the line's relatively shallow here, we're gonna go find that out here in a second, is adding a clean out access in on the outside here to bypass this location and scope the remainder of the line and see how far the repairs need to go. In general, on lines this age, I usually recommend full updates. Even if I see problems throughout half the sewer line, once a line is at this age, spot repairs do not make sense any longer. Obviously, you know, if you can do things that are, you know, trenchless or semi-trenchless as it relates to getting into the roadway, you know, that's an ideal scenario for that kind of stuff. As for the yard, most likely digging is going to be necessary here, as it looks like you've got gradation loss along with roots. But sometimes cleaning is advantageous. It clears everything out and allows you to see the slope and grade of the line to see if everything can be done trenchlessly or not. All right, we're gonna have the neighbor flush a toilet here. Okay, I can hear their flush to their vent right now. I think I just overheard the neighbor saying that the lines are tied together. I'm not seeing a lot of water flow action going on here. That doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't tied together. In fact, it sounded like the neighbor just said that they think it's tied together. The hard part is, if that tie-in is up ahead of us, it could just be coincidence where we're stopping here. The Y-end could be up ahead of us, where we're not going to see an obvious change in water flow, especially with this much standing water in the line. It'll often absorb the flow. Alrighty, we're gonna start filling back in. I did mark the location, but the neighbor does have a clean out access that may allow us to bypass some stuff here, so.
You did verify, Jeff, that they
Sitting here talking to myself with the microphone turned off. I apologize. Anyway, not sure where that audio cut in, cut out, but I've located where I stopped there at around 31 feet, which lines up with the neighbor's clean out pretty nicely. That little white speck you can see down there is the neighbor's. We're going to move to that and scope from there out. It is confirmed by the neighbor these are a shared or a party line. What you would call this generally is a party line. Line here comes out directly underneath the air conditioning unit, smack dab right underneath the middle of it. There's bellied out pipe there almost from the time the line goes horizontal at the base of the vent. So it looks like when that AC unit went in, my guess is anyway, it's not a spot I can locate terribly well because of the air conditioning unit. The weight of that unit going in over the top of it looks like it caused a belly. So in this case, this is one where I'm going to recommend not just the concrete pipe be updated, but also the cast iron to remove any standing water in the cast iron pipe as well. The last thing, I'm not a huge... after, again, 25,000 scopes, a lot of bellies don't concern me a whole lot, but they do concern me quite a bit when you've got a combination of old, rough cast iron. Cast is a good pipe product, but it's got a rough texture to it. You combine that with an inch of standing water, especially when it's right up against the home. It's the first, 3 to 5 feet right out of the gate. Those are your most likely bellies to lead to a blockage that results in a backup because of the close proximity to the home. If it blocks up, that water comes up through your fixture instantaneously. You don't get 50 feet of pipe to fill up first to create head pressure and break things loose. So at this rate, I'm recommending everything from essentially the base of the vent. You have to have a plumber come take a look at the interior, see what, if any of that needs to be dealt with to grade the line properly. You may want to reroute to go around the air conditioning unit to minimize how much extra stuff you have to do here. So anyway, as it sits right now, everything basically from the 0 point out to 31 feet, I recommend a full update on, and likely it's going to extend beyond that. We'll make a second video for the latter half here.